Hey guys, it's me, Miss J, and I'm here to talk to you guys about the importance of doing observations. And observations are not only important for teachers, but they're important for parents as well. Parents, directors, and business owners. I'm sure all of you guys are like, oh, I observe my kids every day. But when I say observing, I mean just literally just sitting back, watching them, and just looking, listening, seeing how they react to stuff, seeing how they solve, if they have multiple siblings, seeing how they resolve issues by themselves, if they're an only child, seeing how they resolve that issue by themselves if they come across an issue. Just watching them is very, very important. It's also very important for directors and business owners to pay attention to their staff, their employees. And it's very important for I said this already, for teachers to pay attention to the students, but that should be a given at any given moment. And I mean, we have to engage with our students a lot as a teacher, but you should always be observing at some point of the day. Just not saying anything, not talking, not giving any feedback, just watching and seeing seeing what happens. It's very important. I'm going to tell you why. Children at a young age don't have all the words to develop how they are feeling, or if something is wrong. So if we take the time out to observe a child, it would give us a heads up if something is wrong. For instance, if TT come in the classroom all the time, she always on 10. I mean, always. She like the Energizer Bunny. She just keep going and going and going, right? And then one day she come in and just kind of seemed like her whole spirit is off. It was just kind of like no matter what you do, you can't get TT to be energizing. And if you pay attention to your kids a lot, that sometimes would be scary or disheartening. You'll be like, dang, something wrong with TT, you know? And it would tell you, your observations of the child or anything. It could be something very small or minor, uh, or it could be something very big. Sometimes it's stuff going on in the inside of them, and because they can't develop the words to tell you, or they can't develop the words to speak, they don't know how to describe it, their actions will show everything that has happened to me my whole entire career in child development. I'm always able to tell if one of my students are off, and I could give you another slight situation where it was very disappointing to me for how the teachers handled it at this. I wouldn't say disappointing, but I was kind of like, I didn't see, wasn't nothing weird or stand off like a child. She got molested, and they, of course, we called it at school because we have to change diapers. But I'm like, how was she acting? She was very standoffish, staring off into space. She didn't want nobody to touch her, you know. And some of those things you need to really you need to kind of look into if that's not their norm. Sometimes it's normal for a child to be standoffish and not talking, but you wouldn't know that if you're not observing. But if this child is busy and they're doing everything under the sun and they do something like that, it's kind of it gives you it should it's like, to me, it's like alarm go off in my head. It makes me want to observe them a little bit more, give them a little bit more love and care, and kind of see if I could figure out exactly what's wrong, if they could open up and tell me. And so a situation like that happened, and it was very disheartening. We found out changing a diaper, seeing something like that is not good. They brought me into the classroom, had to look over it, and we had to follow standard procedures for once that happened. But children do give telltale signs, and if you do not pay attention to your child, or if you don't talk to your child at home, you it's kind of hard to kind of decipher what's going on. It's so easy for us to write children off and be like, oh, they just tripping. Sometimes they're not tripping. I remember a couple of years before, I used to hear people say all the time, "Oh, they too young to be stressed out." And I'm like, kids get stressed too. They get stressed out from the problems that their parents go through. You could be getting a divorce, and that will affect your child's whole behavior. And you may not catch it, but the teacher at school may catch it. And you may not notice because you so dwell off into your problems, you don't know how it's affecting your child. But it does. And that's why it's important to observe every day. Just sit back, watch, observe. And the same thing goes for people. You never know what somebody is going through. And if you got an all-star teacher, an all-star worker, an all-star something, and they come in, they just not on their best, they got attitude, something's wrong, something's wrong. And it's up to you to know how to handle that situation. And if you just observe people a little bit, just kind of sit back, watch, look, you will know how to handle a situation. So I wanted to give a brief synopsis on the importance of observing. And we need to observe our children as much as we need to talk to them, have honest and candid conversations. And that's something else that we will discuss more later. Again, that's all for today. But if you want something that you want me to address or have any things that you want me to talk about, feel free to drop it in the comments. Talk to you later. Bye.